So I have this OC called Dusa, who never really got any thought put into her design because she kind of just spawned as the twin of my other OC Deus. She was literally a rip-off version of him, with the exact same hair but longer. Eventually, I decided she was too much of a girl boss to straight up steal her brother's hair, especially because she would probably hate his hairstyle regardless of what it was anyways. And so today, we're gonna be giving her different hairstyles together. To start off, I set out to draw Dusa as a base to copy and paste, so I could easily add different hairstyles on top. I got together some references for hairstyles I thought would fit Dusa well, and then, instead of just starting with some of the hairstyles, I decided to make some brushes. Now you may ask yourself, Will VildrArt, Supreme Art God and Master Video Editor, why would you start making brushes now? Have you ever even made brushes before? No, I haven't. But consider this. Would you rather draw different hairstyles that are made up of hundreds of braids by hand, crying as your hand hurts with every stroke? Or make a braid brush once and go skrrr to be done a minute later? If you picked the first option, you're a masochist, and I respect that. But I am not, so I made a brush from scratch. More like several brushes. So after a bunch of very serious testing, I finally had my brush ready and could no longer procrastinate by making more brushes. The first hairstyle I drew to ease myself into it was the basic haircut Dusa had, which I literally stole from her brother, except it's longer. The worst part is that the long hair wasn't even original because long hair Deus already existed. Originally Dusa was just meant to be the gender bent version of Deus, but eventually she started growing all the brain cells that Deus doesn't have, and she became the educated girl boss counterpart to Deus's adrenaline junkie himbo behavior. So yeah, she quite literally had the exact same hairstyle because she was never meant to be her own character. But she very clearly let me know that she wasn't the damn addict idiot fuckboy her brother was. Anyways, back to making some of her new hairstyles. There were a couple of things that I definitely wanted to keep from the old hairstyle. Some kind of bangs in the front, the sides being shorter or just being kept tight to her scalp, and also the high ponytail as well as the dyed blonde color. I armed myself with my new, shiny self-made brushes and got to drawing. The first new hairstyles took me a while longer to make than I thought they would, but I was also experimenting with the brushes and learning how braids sit on your scalp because apparently they don't magically spawn out of nowhere. I guess this is a good moment to talk about Dusa a bit. I already mentioned that she's Deus' twin sister. They grew up together, but they parted ways when Dusa went to a renowned uni to study. She definitely inherited all of the brain cells of the two and graduated as top of her class, while Deus was probably laying drunk in a corner. Although I have to mention, studying wasn't easy for her, and she had to put a lot of time into her studies. She also went to military training at one point where she learned to defend herself. Nowadays, she's a very pragmatic businesswoman and a workaholic, so it's no wonder that she never makes much time for anything other than work. And her hairstyle should reflect that in a way. It needs to be something that doesn't need tons of styling and can easily live through a 16-hour workday. So yeah, a high ponytail that's out of the way and braids will definitely work for that. I got the hang of it, and for the third hairstyle I went a bit more crazy, having the braids transition into twists with a slightly cooler ombre towards the bottom, as well as some golden jewelry. Dusa is canonically pretty well off, so she'd be wearing that gold drip for the aesthetics. Honestly, Dusa kind of evolved into a fashion icon, but ironically, visual aesthetics were never her strong suit, and it took her a while to find the perfect style for herself. Before then, well, let's just say she was close to looking like a clown at school. I also remembered that these hairstyles typically have baby hairs at the edges to the braided sections, so I added those too. For the next hairstyle, I wanted to try mixing the unbraided hair at the top and the bangs with the sides being braided, all merging together into a high ponytail at the back. I also wanted to mention that back in the day, her hair was pretty much entirely blonde, while now I added a subtle gradient at the scalp, so it looks like she dyes her hair. This way it looks more realistic since I don't think many black people have naturally blonde hair. Meanwhile for Deus, I still keep all of the top hairs blonde because I think he would dye it pretty frequently, since he cares a lot about his looks, whereas Dusa doesn't really. I honestly love the way I drew and shaded the bangs here. It looks very flowy and almost papery. Moving on to the fourth style. The idea with this one was to have shaved sides and the rest of the hair braided. For this one I also used a different braid brush than before. And then the topic of brushes. All of the brushes I made for this video are available for you to download for free. All I ask is for you to leave a like on the video. Just kidding, you can still download them without liking, but I'd appreciate it. The download link is in the description. There's even a couple of extra brushes that I didn't show in the video. All of these will only work in Procreate though. Now to get back to the hair, I added a bit of ombre coloration to the braids as well as some golden rings to really hammer home that Dusa is a fancy lady. The last hairstyle is kind of the evolution of the fourth hairstyle, with open bangs and top hair but braided sides, except it's all tied together in a braid. I also tried to improve upon the shape of the bangs that I already loved so much from before, to make them look even more satisfying. And I humbly think I succeeded. And that's all of the hairstyles. Which one is your favorite? I personally love 4 and 6 the most, and will probably end up using variations of those for Dusa's hairstyle. If you guys enjoyed the video, check out this one next, where I redraw an old OC of mine. Will out.